Lightfall finally comes out tomorrow, and honestly, I'm just so excited. Really quick, I do want to say that I seriously thank you all so much for the continued support over the entire year of Witch Queen. The channel has grew just an absurd amount. If you haven't seen, we recently hit our 30,000 milestone before Lightfall even came out, so I honestly just truly appreciate you all so much. I'm so excited for the future of our community, and I cannot wait to keep making these videos for you all. So if you are interested in anything Lightfall, I'm going to have builds, breakdowns, just reviews, reactions, literally anything you can think of. I will have it on this channel. It's going to be a lot of work and a wild ride. I'm very excited for tomorrow, and I hope to see you all in Lightfall. But hey, if you're in the market for a brand new PC, look no further than my custom line of Apex Gaming PCs. These are price optimized to run Destiny 2 and can be completely customized the way you want it. All the links you need are in the description of this video. Remember, you can save up to $250 on your next purchase when you use code REST. But all right, jumping right into it, I do want to go in and say that I'm going to be playing Strand at the launch of Lightfall. As you see, I do have my Strand looking garden right here. I tried to make him as green as possible, but I will have my Starfire build and other builds, my other classes ready to go if I need to. Now, I'm not going to go over every single thing I'm taking, since most of our mods are probably going to come unslotted, or we're just going to change them out anyway when Lightfall drops, but I will mention a couple mods that I think will be beneficial to have in your arsenal. Also, as you see, I am going to be running Eye of Another World, just a very good neutral game exotic, since I want to play into Strand, since we don't have any Strand base exotics quite yet. But if you are playing on a Hunter and Titan, need a neutral base exotic, Frosties is a great option to get your cooldown back, and of course, when it's something like Heart of Endless Light is going to be your best option for the Titan. So before we jump into all the weapons I'm taking, I want to go over some essential mods and the stats that I'm running. As you see, I am prioritizing resilience, recovery, and discipline. I actually have 10 over right now because of a fragment equip. Obviously, that's going to change when I equip the Strand subclass, so you can expect these to be changed up a little bit, but these are the three things I want to prioritize the most. Resilience is getting a nerf, but it's still going to be a 30% damage reduction, which is very nice, and discipline because I want to grapple everywhere on the Amuna. Now, mods to be aware of are the Siphon mods. You can change this out for whatever element you want to, and I'm pretty sure in the artifact there's also a mod that gives you 3 of these for just unlocking the perk, but obviously we probably won't have that for the legendary campaign, so I would definitely recommend putting one of these on. The reason I won't take Harmonic Siphon is because I'm trying to play Strand, and I highly doubt we get a Strand weapon super early in the campaign. If we do, then I'll just throw this on, but if we don't, I'll just have any elemental siphon ready to go so I can make orbs of power. Orbs are going to give you armor charge, which is the brand new system, basically replacing combat style mods, so you definitely want to have as many orbs as possible. Another thing to note is that if you are running a ammo finder, if you run an exotic primary weapon, this has an increased chance to drop those ammo finders for you, so be sure to keep that in mind if that is something you're looking into running, because you could definitely benefit from that. And then remember to put on your resistant mods. Obviously, you can swap these out for whatever encounter you're in. We don't know what the encounters are going to be like, but things like energy diffusion substrate is going away, and there's no unlockable perk for it in the artifact, so it's going to be very beneficial to keep the permanent ones on your armor at all times. And since elemental affinities are going away, I would imagine just arc resist is just going to come a normal mod, but then obviously you would have solar and void in the same thing, so you can obviously swap it out again whatever encounter you are in. Almost every single other mod can be interchangeable for whatever you're running. Obviously, we don't know exactly how Strand is going to work, but if you have your other builds set up, just be sure to keep them in. We could potentially, like I said earlier, they just remove all the mods because of all the mod systems they're changing, but I just wanted to let you all know to keep those in mind, because I think they will be the most beneficial until we learn the new system. But all right, the main part, let's start talking about weapons. First off, I'm going to be running a submission. This is just a very good workhorse SMG. We all know SMGs are one of the strongest primary ammo weapons in the entire game for PvE. This does have overflow and frenzy. You get a bunch of ammo and you get a bunch of damage. It is very nice, and this is a legendary campaign, so if SMGs are going to be a little bit more difficult to use, I can obviously swap this out for anything else, but if it's, you know, pretty simple to use and I can stay alive, maybe something like Woven Mel, it's going to be pretty easy to do. I will 100% be running this if I'm not running double special, which we'll get to in a second. Now, speaking of specials, I'm going to be running a Heritage. This has Reconstruction and Focus Fury. Reconstruction gives you a bunch of ammo. Focus Fury obviously gives you that damage buff after you land half the magazine with precision shots. So this is just going to be very good for doing some special ammo DPS if I need to. If I pair this with something like Anarchy, you're going to be good to go. I don't know how much I'm going to be running this, but I do have it on here just in case if I just need a special ammo slug shotgun. Next, I have Succession. This does have Reconstruction and Vorpal on it. This is going to be very good for just taking out longer range targets. If something's tanky and I can just sit at the back of the map. snipe it down. I have a bunch of ammo in it because of reconstruction, never have to reload it, and Vorpal obviously does that increased damage, which is really, really good. Now, a choke clip fusion rifle, specifically Riptide, but if you have Deliverance, that will also be really good. It's going to be very, very strong because not only can it just slow and freeze enemies if something's chasing you down, but on top of that, if there are champions in the campaign, which I don't think there will be because there wasn't in the legendary Witch Queen campaign, but if it is, choke clip will be able to stun Overload and Unstoppable champions because slow will stun Overload and shattering will stun Unstoppable. So that is very, very good. Also, just like I said, just having a choke clip fusion rifle to slow stuff down in general is also really strong. Now, I'm also going to be running a Disparity. So this is going to be my long range option for this slot. It has rapid hit, one for all. You get a bunch of stability, reload speed. You get a bunch of damage if you hit 3 different targets. It's just getting a very, very workhorse style weapon. I'll probably slot Ambush over there over Hawk Breach armaments. But again, this is just going to be a good long range option if I need something in this slot. Now, we'll also be running With a Horde. With a Horde is just very strong for act clears, very strong for doing some additional damage in the background. It can proc things like Jolt. It can get your grenades back for things like Starfire Protocol, which again, I will have ready to equip if I need to. It's just overall one of my favorite exotics in the game. The kinetic weapons are also getting a damage buff, so this is going to be doing even more damage in Lightfall, so definitely want to keep this around. Now, I also have an Outbreak Perfected. Outbreak Perfected is what I used a lot in the day 1 legendary Witch Queen campaign, so I figured it would be wrong if I didn't take it in this one just in case. It's very good for doing some extra damage to mages since the Siva nanites will stack. Also, it's good for act clears. You get a headshot that will spawn a bunch of them to kill everything. You get a bunch of reload speed with Outlaw. Overall, it's just a very strong weapon. I honestly will probably swap this out depending on how early we get the Quicksilver Stone Catalyst. If you get the Catalyst after you beat the campaign, then obviously I'm just gonna run Outbreak Perfected. But if you get the Catalyst, you know, starting off the campaign, honestly, we'll run Quicksilver Storm because with the Catalyst, you'll be able to make Tangles, and obviously Tangles will pair extremely well with Strand, and you can also just level the Catalyst up as you play in the campaign. So I definitely will swap this out if that is a thing, but if it's not, I will just keep Outbreak Perfected in my inventory pretty much the whole campaign. Now, moving on to energy, I'm going to be first off running a Forbearance. I think we all know how strong this is. With Ambitious Assassin, Chain Reaction, even something like Soul Drink are also playing into this. It is just one of the best act clear weapons in the entire game. It can pretty much clear out an entire room at any range if you do just angle the grenade right, and it just blows everything up. It is very, very strong. I would highly recommend running this if you do have one of these, but honestly, any waveframe grenade launcher will work. Forbearance just does it the best in my opinion. Now, I'm also going to be running an Empty Vessel. This does have blinding grenades on it. Honestly, blinding grenades are still very, very strong. A lot of people don't utilize them as much anymore because you can just run something like Forbearance and kill everything with one shot. But if I ever need a point where I need to blind some enemies because areas are really difficult, I do have this ready just to throw on there. Now, this might be weird, but I do have an Azume RR4. Just like my first slide, I wanted just a long range option to do some damage to the back if I need to. And the reason I like this one so much is because it does have Bottomless Grief, which is normally a trash perk, and it can't even roll on weapons anymore. But specifically with this sniper rifle, if I move my camera, you can see that it does have 7 in the magazine. Now, what's really cool about that is the fact that I can take something like Adept Big One spec, and I don't have to take backup mag to actually achieve that 7 in the magazine. I also have the ability to swap to triple tap if I need to, but overall, this is just a very good workhorse weapon. Again, I know I've said that a lot, but that's kind of what I want to bring into Lightfall because they're just easy to use, they're really good, and can kind of cover a lot of things. They're just very versatile. Now, I'll also be running a Duma Chelchis for the same exact reasons. This has explosive payload and one for all, so this is 2 very good damage perks, and if I ever need to use a long range weapon for enemies in the back of the map, you best believe I'm going to equip Duma Chelchis. It's very, very good, and it can get the job done relatively easy. Now, I also have an Oculus SMG. Volt Shot doesn't seem to be getting nerfed. You get this proc, you can pretty much just act clear entire room with a primary weapon. That is the main reason I'm running this. If you want to run a incandescent weapon or just anything playing into any of your other subclasses, you can. I personally think Volt Shot is just by far the best 3.0 perk we have, and you don't actually have to run Arc to take a lot of advantage with it because it's still just very, very strong. Now, I'll also be running Merciless. This is going to be very, very good for doing some additional boss DPS. It's really the only reason I'm bringing it. If I just need to swap to a special weapon to do some damage, you can stack this up every time you shoot it, and it's going to shoot even faster. It is very, very good. It's one of the highest DPS weapons in the game, and it's a special weapon right now, so definitely be sure to keep that in mind. Now, as you probably all saw and questioned, I'm running Polaris Lance. This is a pure copium pick. I honestly believe Polaris Lance might be very strong in Lightfall with the way they're changing it, and I think it will have the potential to be one of the highest primary weapon DPS weapons in the game. And the reason I say that is because it does have the perfect fit, so every time you get a precision shot, it will actually return an ammo to the magazine, so you never have to reload the gun, which is obviously already very good for doing some additional damage. Reloading is a huge part of what lowers DPS, so you can throw that out the window. And if you land 4 precision hits, the 5th shot will actually make an explosion, and now it will scorch enemies. It applies 40 scorch stacks, but if you're running Ember of Ashes, it will apply 60. So that means after 10 shots with Ember of Ashes, you will ignite an enemy. If you're not running Ember of Ashes, it is after 15 shots, which still isn't bad if you're just sitting in the back of the map and you're just trying to desperately kill a boss. But ignitions obviously do a lot of damage, and being able to just proc these infinitely anywhere on the map, I think this could be a very, very good option to take. Now, it also does have Dragonfly if you have the Catalyst. That's obviously also very good for ad clear. So overall, again, pure copium pick, but I think it could be really good, and I'm excited to test it out, and that's why I want to have it in my inventory for the day 1 campaign. Now, before we move on to heavy, I do want to mention double special like I talked about earlier. The reason double special is going to be relatively strong, or why we at least think it's going to be really strong, is the fact that mods like special finisher exist. So normally if you finish an enemy with this, it will require your super energy to generate special ammo. Well, now with the new system, it seems that it's going to take an armor charge. So if I'm running Arc Siphon and I have a Forbearance, that means I will make orbs, which will get me an armor charge when I pick it up, and then I can use that armor charge to make me special ammo anytime I want to. So running double special, something like Riptide and Forbearance, could still be a very, very good option, because you can pretty much have infinite special since you're always making orbs and always getting finishers. So that is something to keep in mind. But if you want to run just a primary special heavy like most people do in Destiny, you will still be good to go. But now, speaking of heavies, Anarchy, as I've already went over a little bit, this is just going to let me shoot on a boss. It's going to do damage over time, and I can just hide if it is a very tough encounter, you know, so I won't take damage. The boss will just tick over time, and it also is getting that damage buff for grenade launchers in Lightfall, so this could be very, very good. Pairing this with any other weapon like Succession, Heritage, even Riptide, literally anything, it is going to be very, very strong for just doing some extra damage. Even if I'm running the Starfire build, that could also be really good. And if you remember, I am running Grenade Launcher Ammo Finder just so I can take more advantage, since I'm running double grenade launchers anyway, so I can just have as much ammo as possible. Now, for other power weapons, I do have a Eager Edge Sword. You can swap this off whatever you want to, maybe taking something like a Cataclysmic to still be really good, but I honestly just don't think I will be running that too much. So having an Eager Edge Sword just to get through a jumping puzzle, get through an area fast if I need to. Say there's a part where there's like a timer, you have to get to a certain area really fast, Eager Edge is going to be really good for that. So definitely just have this equipped just in case if there's anything like that in the game. Now, I do have my Wendigos. The security launchers are getting a buff. This one does have explosive light, auto loading, field prep, and spike grenades. Honestly, probably one of the best rolls you can get on this. You can swap it out for anything you need to. Auto loading if you are swapped to another weapon for doing damage. Field prep if you just want to unload all your ammo and swap to something like Merciless. And obviously, I think we all know about how good Wendigo has potential of being in Lightfall, so definitely keeping that in my inventory. Now, I'll also be running a Hothead. Since rockets aren't getting nerfed, this also does seem to have the potential to be one of the best DPS things in the game. It's also just a rocket. It's really good for taking on a tanky target. So explosive light, field prep, and impact casing, very, very strong option. And I definitely can see how I'm going to be using this quite a bit if there is any tankier targets around. Now, Commemoration, in my opinion, is the best machine gun in the game. It can roll with Reconstruction and Kill and Tally. If I move my camera, you can see this thing has 75 rounds in it, which means it can get up to 150 rounds with the Reconstruction on it. With Kill and Tally, if you never swap your gun to reload, you get that damage increase. So it does a lot of damage. It is very, very good for ad clear. And if there ever is a part where there's just a lot of tanky enemies that I need to just mow down, and you know, my Forbearance or my Volt Shot weapon just isn't cutting it, I will swap to this bad boy and I will just mow some enemies down with it. A thing to remember is that machine guns are also getting a slight buff, so it's going to be even better than it already is. And it already is pretty good in my opinion. Now, I'm also going to be running Yellowhorn. If it is like the Witch Queen campaign, pretty much every single checkpoint or major checkpoint had a rally flag. So you can just use this for boss damage, clearing out entire rooms of ads. It's very, very strong. I would definitely recommend still bringing it just in case, and you can just honestly never really go wrong with this. Then finally, I'm running Sleeper Simulant. And this is the reason I'm not running Cataclysmic, because this is not getting a nerf, and I honestly think Sleeper will be one of the best linear fusions in the game, because it already does a ton of damage. The problem is that Cataclysmic and any other legendary linear fusion has things like triple tap, 4 times the charm, but they are getting that damage nerf, so I think this does have its time to shine. And if I need to take out a longer range target just to be very accurate, I will throw this on and I'll be good to go. But that is pretty much everything that I'm bringing into the day one solo legendary campaign. Like I said, I will be running Strain. I'm super excited for Strain. I think it has a bunch of cool in-game potential, so I want to get used to it as fast as possible so I can start making builds for you all. And overall, I mean, obviously, you just have a grappling hook. It looks very, very fun. But I think that's going to do it all for me. Let me know what you all think about it. If you have any recommendations that you want to put in the comments below, we can start some conversations down there so we can all have the best loadouts going into the day one campaign. Even if you're not doing the campaign solo, or even if you're not doing a legendary, I hope this video did help you all out. And I hope if you see any comment, give it a recommendation. I hope that can help you out as well. Like I said in the beginning, I am super excited for Lightfall. I wish you all the best of luck on doing the campaign. Excited to see where the story goes. Excited to see how the raid goes. Excited to see everything about the game. I'm just very, very, very ready for tomorrow. But anyway, if you all did enjoy it, just consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff. And if you want to join my Discord, if you want anybody to play with for Lightfall, we'll have a link to that in the description. But any support from you all, like I said, is just truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for just a great year in Witch Queen. And again, I hope to see you all in Lightfall. Peace.